Hey guys, I just wanted to give my quick reaction to the Arsenal Brighton game this morning, and I'll just start off with the controversial call of the day. 3 games into the season, we're already talking about the referees. The second yellow on Declan Rice, I really don't think was a yellow, especially given the context of how, if you watched the game, you probably saw that João Pedro blatantly kicked the ball away in the first half. That's much more of a yellow than what Declan Rice did here. When I first saw this incident with Declan Rice, where he kind of blocks the guy from restarting the game, I didn't even realize. It didn't even seem to me like he was even aware of what was going on. It kind of looked like the guy, he was just walking away, and the guy kicked him, or kicked the ball at him. Given the replay, yeah, I can kind of see that he does kind of look over and see what's going on. Um, So I can kind of understand why the referee would give a yellow card there, but you got to be consistent. And considering like I said, what João Pedro did was much more blatant. I don't ever think that's a second yellow card for Declan Rice. Um, so I'll get that part out of the way. Never a second yellow card there for me. Um, so now getting into some of the actual game analysis, I thought that Arsenal started off pretty well the first 15 to 20 minutes. I thought they did a good job of pinning Brighton back in their own third and not really letting them get out. They created a few half chances here and there, um, but nothing. Arsenal didn't really create a super decisive chance, but Brighton didn't have really any of the ball for those first 15 to 20 minutes. And then I think once James Milner got hurt and they made that substitution, I thought that the game came a little bit more even. Brighton still weren't creating a lot, but they weren't pinned in their own half quite as much. So when Arsenal actually got their first goal, in the 39th minute, I actually thought it was kind of fortunate because at that point, like I said, Brighton had done a much better job defensively, and Arsenal weren't creating as much. So they were a little bit fortunate to get the clearance that kind of bounced off Bukayo Saka's back, which he was able to turn and make a pass to Havertz, who made a nice finish. So that was a bit fortunate. It's nice to see Kai Havertz get another goal, though. I know there was a lot of talk in the transfer market about bringing in another striker. I'm personally glad that Arsenal didn't go out and overspend on a striker. I don't really think that was necessary given how Kai Havertz had performed the second half of last year when he was actually the main striker for the second half of the season. So going into halftime, I felt pretty good about Arsenal's chances for the rest of the game. Like I said, Brighton hadn't created a ton, and having the 1-0 lead at home I felt pretty confident going into the second half. And then, like I said, obviously, I already went into it, so I won't go into detail about it again. Obviously, Rice got that second yellow early in the second half, and that definitely changed things. Brighton were able to catch Arsenal out a little bit, and they got their goal in the 58th minute, so not long after Rice had been off, and Arsenal were a man down, were Brighton able to equalize. After that, I actually thought that some of the changes Arteta made actually helped Arsenal stay in the game, and actually they threatened a couple times. They had a couple counterattacks. There was a breakaway that Odegaard had where he just looked like it was pretty close to stringing a pass through to Calafiori, who looked like he would have been one-on-one with the goalie had that pass made it through. And then obviously after that, Havertz had a big chance, did really well to hold off his defender, just unfortunately couldn't finish. And then shortly after that, he had another great pass to Saka. It was just a little bit too far ahead of him for Saka to be able to do anything with. But I did think, even though Arsenal only had 10 men, the changes Arteta made definitely offered something and allowed them to still be a little bit threatening, even though they were down a man. The one thing I will say, I think Arsenal were a bit fortunate that some of Brighton's finishing in the second half was so terrible, because they definitely had a good number of Brighton definitely had a good number of chances that they could have put away, but they were just blasting them over the bar. And yeah, I think I'll take a draw considering how that game went. A few positives, I think. Well, there's definitely some negatives. If you're looking forward into our game in a couple weeks against Tottenham, it's going to be pretty unfortunate that Rice is going to be out that game, and with Marino getting injured in training earlier this week, I don't know what that's going to mean. It's going to be interesting to see what Arteta does for the midfield lineup for that game. But I was going to say some positives, I think, to take away from this are how good our defense is as a unit. Even though Brighton did have a decent amount of shots in the second half, I do feel like a majority of those shots were coming from outside the box, and it wasn't like they were kind of cutting Arsenal up through the center of our penalty area and had a ton of super good looks. They were all kind of long range efforts, so that's nice to see. That's reassuring. It's nice that obviously having Gabriel and Saliba back there probably, in my opinion, and I know it's most based on what most people seem to think, the best center back pairing in the league. It looks like how the season started so far, that's probably going to be the case again. And then I think having Calafiori this year and also having Timber back, I think that will also help us defensively. So I think we're going to be defensively strong again. So yeah, as I said, I think I'll take a 1-1 result for this game. Obviously would have liked to win, but given the context of everything that happened, I think this is an acceptable result. And 7 points out of a possible 9 after 3 games, not the most ideal. Obviously, we wanted all 9, but again, got to take a point on a day like this, I think. So we got Tottenham in 2 weeks. That should be interesting. As I mentioned, we'll have to wait and see what our lineup is for that game. But yeah, hope you guys like my analysis and my video here. If you like, feel free to subscribe, leave any comments. I'd love to get a conversation started about the game and the rest of Premier League season. I'll probably have another video in another day or two kind of breaking down some of the other games. But again, thanks for watching, and till next time, take care.